Welcome to the Hotter Than Health podcast, a podcast and resource for those looking to expand and elevate their lives. Each week, we will bring you provocative topics, engaging interviews, and some of the biggest names in health and wellness to answer your burning questions. Each episode, you can leave with tangible tips and takeaways so that you can immediately begin to elevate and optimize your life. Let's get into it. You are listening to the Hotter Than Health podcast. Thank you for being here today. And before we get into today's episode, I hope you all enjoyed the new music. I absolutely adore it. It is time for a little bit of a transition. We are elevating the podcast, and I love our old music and our old theme song, but I think that it was just time to take it a step further. The woman who created the introduction music previously is the same woman who created this music. Her name is Honeycraft on Instagram. Go follow her. She's a musical genius. Thank you so much, Catherine. Either way, I know you all will enjoy the music that is to come. Before we get into the episode, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the review of the week. This was on iTunes. And remember, if you want to be featured as the review of the week, all you have to do is pop onto the iTunes app, leave a 5-star review, and I will read it on here, and you will get a chance to win a new tote bag. Yep, that's right. If you follow me on Instagram or Hotter Than Health podcast on Instagram, you have seen that Hotter Than Health came out with tote bags. You can follow A Little Squid if you want to find out more about who made the tote bags. She's incredible and so talented. Thank you, Kelsey. But for every person who writes in a review, you are entered in to be the review of the week. And starting next week, review of the week is going to win a canvas tote bag. So if you win review of the week and your review is read over the podcast pre-episode, reach out to me, let me know that it was you, and I will send you a tote bag and maybe some other little giveaway goodies. This week's review said, Eliza is amazing. I love how open and honest she is on each and every day. I love her variety of guests on health, wellness, nutrition, exercise, sex, and just everyday life. I like that she changes her plan and listens to her body. I too used to overdo it with oxidative stress and the crazy workouts. I tried food combining and keto without much success. It's just been nice to have a podcast with someone I trust. As a personal trainer myself, I have seen and done it all, and I truly benefit from Eliza. That is from Lazi Newberry. Thank you so much for that special review. That is so kind. And we do really go everywhere on this episode, and I appreciate your words, and I appreciate you taking the time to write the review. And I will absolutely send you a canvas bag. So when you are listening, send me a DM on Instagram and I will get that over to you. Again, if you want to be entered in to win, just make sure you write us a 5-star review on iTunes. It's just on the podcast app. If you have already written a review and it doesn't allow you to write another one, then honestly, steal someone's phone. It's really good for SEO. Take someone's phone, write it down. I'm sure there's someone listening next to you or that you're going to see later today. Hey, let me see your phone really quick. Go on the podcast app, leave your name, and I'll read it for you. But either way, do what you can to leave a review and share it. If not, then I will be thinking of another way to promote and such. Thank you so much for all of your support. Remember, you can check out my website for offerings for the individual nutrition sessions for those who don't want to go full deep into a program. And we also have free consultation calls to see if the program for the 3-month nutrition programming is a good fit for you. And we also have the monthly meal plan for those who just want organization, less food waste, better energy, and more variety in nutrients. And it also comes with that audio file that explains all of the meals, explains what you're doing. So we have a ton of options. So whether you are wanting a full transformation with your nutrition approach, or you are just interested in elevating and organizing what you already have going on with plant-dominant, gluten-free, dairy-free recipes. All right. Without further ado, I cannot wait for today's episode. You all will absolutely love it. Thank you again, Losi Newberry, for your review of the week. Let's get into it on this week's episode of Hotter Than Health. Today is such a fun episode. We had an absolute blast with this interview. Today we have Heidi Hilman and Marissa West of West Kept Secret. If you haven't heard of West Kept Secret, you will soon. I can promise you, you're going to learn so much about it on this episode. But if you're a Charlotte local, if you're listening in the Charlotte area or Charleston, or if you're in that fitness area, then you have most likely seen West Kept Secret. Not only is the name badass, but the women who are running this studio, who created it, are truly just the most enigmatic, adventurous, charismatic women that I have met in a very long time. Today we have Marissa West, who is the name behind West Kept Secret, and we have horror co-owner Heidi Hilman. Horror co-owner, I don't know why I said it like that, but Heidi Hilman. Truly a dynamic duo. They balance each other out so beautifully. They both have the most rockin' bods, the best attitudes. They are go-getters, and these women have really done it all in the fitness arena. And I think that if you are someone who just more so has an interest in wellness, this is going to be an episode for you, and it's really going to show the ins and outs of what is involved in really having your own fitness business, fitness studio, and what it takes to run that, whether it is the early mornings, the nutrition, the insecurities that might come with it. We have such a great time with this conversation. You should also know that Heidi and Marissa are the official trainers of the Top Cats. If you don't know who the Top Cats are, they are the dance cheer team for the Carolina Panthers. So these women are entrepreneurs, they are NFL trainers, they are business coordinators, and honestly, they are supermodels. Walking into the room with them, I just thought, oh my God, not only do these women look graceful and elegant, but they're personable and they are inspiring and motivating. They don't put anyone down. They have such a fantastic way of building people up while keeping them balanced. We're going to learn so much about West Kept Secret in this episode, and we go kind of everywhere. So sit back and relax and enjoy the ladies of West Kept Secret, Heidi Hilman and Marissa West.
Sure. So,
I told her, I said, it's just a pause. I'm taking it out.
So funny.
It's always so It's always so
right there. It's right there.
She's been really cracking. I mean, she's always
really
funny, but
been
lately I've been like, you're making me, I can't even look at her in the eyes about time.
We really had a struggle yesterday trying to get through recording content for this reel because we could not stop laughing. And the person who showed me, they're like, I have to go. Like, you guys have to get it together.
Give me
something. It was
something.
me. And then she'd start laughing. So we'll try not to do that.
That's a good problem to have.
No eye contact.
We'll reset.
All right.
How did you get into the fitness industry? What is your journey into where you are now?
I've always been an athlete. I was a competitive gymnast for about 13 years and then transitioned into dance in middle school, high school, and college. I danced professionally for the Panthers, for the Top Cats, which is really cool because now we're their official trainer. So it's kind of a full circle moment.
Cool.
For me, it's tough because it's a tough industry to be in fitness-wise. But I think the experiences that I had on the team allowed me to kind of look at fitness in a different way. Mm-hmm. And when we came on board to be interviewed by the coach, Chandelier, our pitch was we want to be able to make fitness a holistic approach. We want to make sure that they are cued and ready and prepped for the game in the healthiest way possible so they feel their best self and so that they're performing at their top level because they are athletes. So seeing that kind of trajectory from childhood to adulthood, fitness has always been a part of my life. My dad is super fit. He used to ride his bike 20 miles into work and then 20 miles home. And I always admired, we had a car, but we had two cars, but in Northern Virginia. Okay. And he just commuting into Washington, DC was literally quicker to go on your bike.
Sure.
And I was just always so inspired by that. I always gravitated towards that. And it was just kind of a natural progression. And when I was prepping for Top Cat auditions in college, I had a trainer. He was great. He was so motivating and positive. And I thought, wow, this would be a really cool career. But my major is communications with a minor in Spanish. So
calm Spanish, same thing. I was
like,
how did I end up in the same
Me too, yes. We're all very good communicators.
It's true.
Guys.
So, it was like, how am I going to integrate this in? So I thought, well, if I can at least get a fitness certification, that will at least give me a jumping off point, which I did. I got certified through the American Council on Exercise, then moved to Charlotte in 2011, right when I graduated from college, and started recruiting for an IT recruiting company because I feel like that's what everybody does, right? I know Heidi did that as well,
Sure did.
which
Absolutely.
is a funny kind of, and I love the people I work with. I hated the job and the cold calling. I mean, I would leave work and I'd be crying. I'm like, I hate this. I'm just going to cold call my friends and pretend I was calling, you know, actual customers and clients. But on the side, I knew that this wasn't going to be long term. So what could I do to make myself feel fulfilled? That was Top Cats. And then part 2 was I had my certification. So I started working at a local studio in Charlotte, teaching every group class under the sun. Really enjoyed
Including
that.
spin, which makes me laugh. I would love to see her teach a spin class. I take it, no doubt, front row.
So I was able to kind of build my network there and figure out what workouts were working for me and were working for clients, because we had kind of a mix of different classes. And what I found was I love boxing. That's great. But I love Pilates. How can we kind of interject all of these things together? And so I decided, you know what, love working in fitness, but being managed by somebody else when I might have some great ideas that might not be taken into account, I'm gonna go do this thing on my own. I quit my full-time job, IT recruiting, still had Top Cats, and started personal training, doing home visits. So I was going into people's homes around the greater Charlotte area and was able to sweet talk my apartment complex into letting me train out of their gym and work out all the liability and all the things that go into that, which, fun fact, Heidi's husband lived in that apartment complex too.
Time.
Isn't that such a
And
funny...
you didn't know each other?
No.
Didn't know each other. And I didn't know
Amazing.
him.
Amazing.
He wasn't at the gym, that's why.
They never met.
We never met. I was there a lot. Was he at the pool?
Nope, Irish skin really avoids the sun as well.
Okay, maybe
He's a
you
great,
gotta-
great guy.
There has to be a 50-50 relationship.
Yes.
It can't be both of you at the gym all the time.
Correct.
That's
You
just
got
not how it goes.
Yeah.
You got it. And then from there, loved that, started to build up the clientele base, and eventually my husband and I moved to Plaza Midwood, which is, about 15 minutes from the South End area where we were originally, and we started training clients out of our home, where we had a 1-car garage inside of our house that we converted into a very small, about this size, studio, one-on-one studio, had one-on-one clients 5:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, all day long. It was just crazy, but it was fun. I loved having the convenience of I can add one more client because I'm already at the house, having the convenience of being able to, run and let my dogs out and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, playing rap music at 5:30 in the morning, the whole house is shaking because that's our energy. You got to experience that.
Yes.
Wasn't really translating long term. So the next step was building a 2-car garage with like a mother-in-law suite behind our house so we could at least have a private space. And then we thought, long term, we can always turn that into something. We'll get some return on that investment. And that's when I met Heidi.
Introducing Heidi.
In the mother-in-law suite.
Yes, so I was a trainer at a mega former studio here, and Marissa was the most ripped little client that I ever saw.
Still.
Yes, and nothing has changed. And so basically, I really loved having her in class because it was easy. I mean, any instructor would be lying if they said that they wanted a class full of people that they had to work really hard to help, but that's what we also love doing too. But you kind of get them whipped into shape into the way of like how the classes work and how things go. So Marissa was coming so much that it was just kind of nice to not have to give a ton of attention to her. And one day after class, we just started chatting, and she was like, I think she was like, where, did you make your own playlist? I loved it. And I was like, what do you do like for a living?
How are you?
Yeah, like, because I know you come here a lot, but I would imagine the way that I'm only doing Megaform and my body's not changing. Like, how do you look like that when I only know that you come here? And that's when she had said, I do personal training. I'm like, well, no shit, there it is. So then, aha moment, I said, there's something to this where I'm only doing this like Pilates movement, every single day. And I mean, literally every day. I was at the studio Monday to Sunday because it was right by my house. I worked there, I got free classes, and nothing was changing. So I reached out to her. I think she had like a couple of spots left, and then it was, an investment. I was in my lower, I guess, mid-20s, and not that it's still not an investment now, but especially at that age, it's just a little bit more
really
tough.
is, yeah.
So
you haven't quite figured out the finances
I know.
quite yet.
And then I feel like you get to that point in your 20s, especially where you're like, where do I spend my money? Because you're so hell-bent on, I need to eat, I need to be able to go out with my friends, I need to be able to pay my rent because my dad's not paying my rent anymore. So you have to think, what do I want to spend it on? Of course, if I could talk to my old self now, I'd be like, put all of your money into fitness, your skin, all the things,
But it's like, you can't, you always say, so-and-so gym is $15 a month, I'll just go in there. But you won't.
You won't.
And you won't learn,
and you
won't
don't
connect
do
with
it.
it.
When you're
It's
there,
different.
you're not doing what you're supposed to be.
But,
You're
it
not
works for
feeling.
some people, but not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hey, kudos to those people because it's it's not easy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely someone that needs to be motivated, even yelled at a little bit. So I actually didn't sign on right away. I waited about 6 months, and it was about July that it was bathing suit season, and I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, this isn't who I am. I, like physically and honestly mentally a little bit too. I grew up in competitive cheerleading. I was on, 3-4 teams, high school, all the all-star teams, was traveling around the country all the time. And it was like, we're running a mile before practice, we're tumbling, we're stunting, we're running a mile at the end of practice Monday through Friday. Then we're competing on the weekends. So I was so burnt out when I got to college that everyone was like, oh, are you going to try out for co-ed? Are you going to try out for all girl? And I was like, nope, I want nothing to do with it.
I'm resentful and tired.
Yes. And then I took it so far extreme, I didn't do anything in college. I mean, anything. Like, I'm lifting a bush light up to my face, and that is my arm workout.
But
like,
that
was
happens.
all I had.
That happens.
It was so bad. I mean,
Lean in.
I don't regret it by any means. It taught me a lot. Like, okay, you can't just do that. But even looking back at pictures cracks me up, and I talk to people from my high school all the time that I stay in touch with, and I'm like, oh, remember when I looked like this or did this? And it's because I can joke on myself.
Of course.
But they're always saying, Heidi, you weren't like overweight. It was just that the puffiness and the sugar and the sodium.
The inflammation.
Yes. It was
We were inflamed.
very real. We were very inflamed. That's the best way to put it.
Lived inflamed for many months. I was like, I didn't weigh different, but I looked different. And not just, again, not any, if someone's comfortable doing that, that's totally cool.
Yes.
But you didn't recognize yourself in that. But also that gives you another level of perspective, because some people can stay dedicated forever and they're like, oh, I just have to switch out what kind I do. Whereas other people go cold turkey just so that they can recognize it. And I was talking about this earlier. Sometimes self-awareness is built. Other times it's instinctual in some situations. So I love that you guys both have that same.
Absolutely. Mine was 100% not instinctual at the time. I mean, there was not a thought in my mind that after years of doing what I was doing, that to be in college and not do anything, that my body could even change. Like, I was like, oh, I'm just always in shape, or I'm always, you always felt kind of ripped or cut or whatever the word is. And little did I know that is not what it was.
It is quickly as you get it, you can lose it.
Absolutely. So fast forward, even moving to Charlotte, I still, from Raleigh where I went to school, I still didn't get super into it. I was still kind of burnt out. And then ultimately, I had some things in my family happen. My mom passed away. And thank you. And I was just thinking, I want to make sure I take care of myself. So how can I do that? My friend had opened a Megaformer studio. I started going all the time. She said, hey, do you want to be a trainer? I said, why not? My mom was actually an aerobics instructor, which is hilarious. So I used to watch her classes doing my homework at the back of the room and stuff.
Kim would be so proud of Heidi.
Oh my gosh. My sister all the time is like, seeing you on the mic is so crazy because it's like so similar. Yeah, so then when I met Marissa and I waited, and then I finally committed to it in July because I was like, why do I look like this? I work in a freaking studio. What's going on? She introduced me to a little thing we like to call cardio. And that is where things change for me. It's crazy. My bee-stung looking face started to go down a little bit. And then ultimately, my body really did change quickly with this methodology. But I will say this. I said this to Marissa. I said, I will be your easiest sell, your best client. If you tell me what to do, I will really challenge to see how good you are at this, because I will do everything you say. And if it doesn't change, it's not my fault. You always want to keep your side of the street clean. Like, I'm going to do it. I did everything she said, and it was insanely noticeable. It worked. I mean, that's kind of when the, partnership and the ideas and the collaboration was born, of me thinking and saying, why don't more people in Charlotte know about you, know about this methodology? Everyone needs to know about it, really. So yeah, we just kind of started talking at the workouts and getting her Instagram and stuff kind of up and popping a little bit more, and then things kind of took off.
That's amazing. And so you guys are now both official trainers of the Top Cats, which is an NFL dance team.
Yes.
Correct.
I want to hear, I've obviously got to hear about that. I want to hear the tea, I want to hear the juice. But when you got into that, did you want to integrate your dance background and your cheer background into that? Was that a smooth integration?
Well, what's interesting actually is they definitely are more dance based, which is absolutely Marissa's strong suit. The counting, the moves, all the stuff they talk about. She was on the Top Cats. So really my gift here is getting to be a part of it, as a younger cheerleader, seeing like the quote cheerleaders on the field. That's really where my starry eyes come from, and really just kind of, she has been coaching me and helping me learn and inspiring me. Like, I say this all the time, that it was always her dream to be involved with them in some way after she retired, and it kind of became my dream too, because she made it seem so great, and it is. So for me, it's not as full circle in the dance sense. maybe more the
Sure.
cheerleading sense. But if you want to...
Yeah, and I think it's great because I think she has another perspective of sometimes when you're so focused on dance technique or is this person a good performer, I feel like Heidi's a great balance coming in from the judging side of, does this person have the right vibe? And kind of, we call it like a vibe check when they walk in. Are they warm and are they friendly? For me, it's like, can they dance? Let me see you do a double turn and a toe touch.
You're like, are they magnetic? And you are like, are they...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also think from a look standpoint, are they put together and poised? Do they spend time preparing their costume and the kind of the total look? And I think it's great to have, she knows that from her cheer background. You have to come totally prep head to toe, and it's again two different perspectives that are coming in, and I think it's so valuable. And that's why I love how the coach is bringing on judges from every kind of field so that she has that perspective, because you can't just be one dynamic on one facet on the top guys. You have to be every single part to then bring your part to make the team as a whole.
Yeah, we were at a clinic a couple weeks ago, and one of the people that were taking, they got to ask questions to the coach, and they said, what do you define a top cat as? And her answer was, you can't. And I was like, wow, that's so powerful. But what I love about Marissa too is, and I think our dynamic when it comes to, she's talking about double turns even right now. I'm thinking, I don't even know what double turn is.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of lean over and I'm like, hey, what's a double turn,
Yeah.
And then I think she enjoys like teaching me and telling me.
Absolutely.
Because that's what she's so good at. And then, I like to learn and I like things too. So, ultimately it all works out.
Absolutely.
That was actually a question that I had on here was, I know you guys are friends, so working with friends can be challenging because it introduces a whole different dynamic into a relationship. So have there been any obstacles personally that you guys have, like, oh my God, how do I work with this person being such a biatch today? Like, what is...
Biatch,
because I'm just picturing working with a significant other, and it's all your time, and then even your social time turns into work time. So what obstacles have you guys come into, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, I would like to start by saying that it was actually cool because when we did start to work together, like I was her client, she was my trainer.
So it wasn't friends
We weren't
and then
friends,
business,
correct.
It was kind of all in one.
Right. It all, you become this person's therapist. You're with them all the time. I would get on the treadmill maybe in the middle of the afternoon after like a bad morning at work, and I'm just dumping on her, and she has no idea the industry I'm even talking about that I'm working in, and it's great because I just loved it. I also feel that it's been probably 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah, 5 years.
So starting together, we have both grown in our own individual ways too. So like the Marissa and Heidi that we knew of each other then is not the same people we are now. And that's not a negative thing, but we have grown a lot together and separately. So it's really cool to go through the obstacles together personally, but
so helpful.
Absolutely. And I feel that I love her parents. I've gotten to meet them. She loves mine. We know each other's husbands very well. We have a lot of synergies. We have a lot of hobbies we like to do differently. So I think that there's a lot of personal obstacles. Then there's also the dynamic of how to manage the staff, and we do that very differently too. I've learned so much from Marissa. She's a great leader, and I have a lot to work on. I'm just more of a direct personality, or I've got so much going on, like I'm going to shoot it straight and move on. She has a little bit a way better finesse, I guess. So I'll let her speak more to it as well. But in general, the best way to describe it is absolutely like a marriage. Yeah. There's always going to be ups and downs. But I will say that I know Marissa's heart is huge. I have always been a fan of hers and everything that she's built. I'm just thankful she's brought me along for the ride. Aww. So no matter how low things get, whether it's in business and life, separately, together, I always go back to that, and I know that she will always take us to the promised land, and we've got high hopes.
Damn.
Man, how do I follow that up?
Yeah. We're gonna have to type.
I know, say good stuff about me.
But really, she said it perfectly. It's the challenging part is we both have very strong personalities. I'm sure you can gather that.
I can't.
She's passionate.
The microphone is smoking.
Right, I'm passionate, and when we believe something, whether it's a personal value or we think it's best for the business, we really go for it. But I think what we have learned, and we're continuing to learn. We just had a great meeting the other day about figuring out how to work through things, what's making me tick, how is she feeling, and then trying to come to a place where we both feel supported and heard and understood. And I think it's listening to the other person, voicing your concern, and holding true if that's something that you really can't bend on, whatever it might be. the other person's going, this is a 10 out of 10 for you and it's a 5 out of 10 for me. For example, how to manage the staff. You know what? I'm going to back down and let you rock this. Okay. This is something that you're really strong at. I'm going to kind of bail off and let you run the show on that. And recognizing she has strengths that are my weaknesses and vice versa.
Got it.
So I think it's pausing, recognizing that, and then making sure that we're both leaving the conversation feeling like we're in a good place so we can move forward.
Like you're heard.
Yes.
Right, and manage this business because it's not easy. And there's a problem every other hour, and
give an
people won't
example.
see it.
Give an example of something that your clients wouldn't have seen, but the show has to go on, baby.
Sure, absolutely. Oh, we get a call. There's a somebody has got a late fee that they don't feel like they should be charged for, and our studio staff, they're messaging us because they want to make sure they respond properly. At the same time, we have a Google review that we absolutely pride ourselves on 5 stars, from cleanliness to making sure we give the best class experience to following up with clients anywhere and everything in between. So we get a Google star review that's 1 star because their car was towed because of parking.
Because they had a bad day.
They had a bad day. They, were late to class.
Then an hour later, after class, an instructor sends us a message and says, hey, the seat on the bike that you just got is ripping. Okay, got it. Also, this this vacuum is not working. This $400 vacuum you just bought, I just can't seem to get it to work. And then we're now 7 vacuums deep.
Now the floor is dirty.
Right.
And
And I mean, this week alone, we were just laughing to even get to this interview with you on a Friday afternoon because I was like, I don't even know if we're going to make it to Friday at 2 p.m.
And that's with the group studio. We have an entire wing of the business that is a personal training side where we have
and
one-on-one.
virtual. And
Right, virtual and streaming. And our one-on-one PT side, there are literally clients from 5:30 in the morning until 7:30 at night, Monday through Friday, Saturdays as well. The only day that we do not operate PT is Sunday to give our trainers a break, right, in a different wing of the building. And that's an entire animal. And they're spending a lot of money, so they're expecting pristine service from start to finish. And again, our team is so great. They always want to run things by us. I think we put that in place for a reason.
Sure.
But that will bog down us to be able to do our duties, which her duties are, and this is kind of going back to what you were talking about making our relationship so great, is finding the strengths. Her strengths are marketing, branding, partnerships, collaborations, and the strategy behind that. Mine is the functional programming of the group classes, the streaming, the virtual, and the personal training clients. And we really try to nestle and then go into those areas and then be great at them, but we can't because we have balls dropping in every direction.
Yes. Like stay in your lane, but know that you're going to swerve a little when you have to.
Exactly. That's a perfect way of putting it. So that's a typical day. We're on the phone going over a strategy for Top Cats, for example. I'm kind of reviewing programming at the same time, and then we get a Slack message that there's a problem. It's like, hang on, let's pause, let's go to this problem, and it's just like that all day
Practicing
long.
that
all
like
day.
Compartmentalization for a minute.
Exactly.
I will say this about our relationship too. There has never been a point in our relationship with the business where we have ever so butted heads on an item that it was just like you have to just walk away from this conversation. That's what I do love about us is we actually we're very business minded in similar ways.
Like you have the same goal.
Correct.
Okay.
So like sometimes I will give a suggestion and then Marissa's like, oh, that's good, and we can do blank. I'm like, great, and we add it.
Oh, I love that.
Right. Or she'll say, I'll say, hey, what do you think? Like today we have a dance class and we do include the machines, and I said some people might just want to come in and like just dance. Should we let them like not have to go on the machines? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. Duh. Why haven't we been doing that?
I love double cardio.
Right.
Can I tell you that if I had seen dancing on the menu today, I would have immediately
You missed it. It was last night.
I saw it.
Missed it.
I saw it last night, and I was like, no,
Yes.
this is not for me.
We should have made her do that one. That'd be good.
This
Yes.
like small half Jewish girl is not going to be out there dancing. It's not.
You got the rhythm. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what I do love is that there's never been. I mean, we truly trust each other in the decision making because ultimately, What's Kept Secret is. We freaking love it. It's just, I will do anything I can to see it succeed. So ultimately, there's not really anything that we've ever butted so far heads on that we can't get back from it because I trust her. I trust everything of her vision for this business. She started it. It has her last name in it. She deserves that. And I'm just here to be her main hype girl and try to get it as far down the finish line as we can.
What's Kept Secret? Oh my God.
Yes. Right? It's so good. It used to
So
be personal
good.
training with Marissa.
Somebody asked me the other day how the name came, and I'm like, well, it used to be personal training by Marissa. And one day I was driving to home visits. It was a 45-minute drive out to the Mint Hill area, which is not close, stuck in traffic. And it's like, man, I just got married. It'd be really cool to include this name because it is a cool last name.
It's a
but
badass name.
How
Yes.
would I do it? It's like, West Side Story, West Kept Secret. I was like, that's really cool. And we just kind of have been rolling with it.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
And we talked about at a point possibly changing it. It's so great, we love it, but Heidi knows that she is just as much of an equal and part of this. So we roll with it, and everybody knows that she's the COO. She's the girl with me, and that she's to be treated and respected the same way. So it's been really a really fun journey.
I mean, just the fact that you had the foundation from start to finish and you've continued to build the foundation. It wasn't just like, oh, you have something in common, because you could have found anyone who would have said, oh my God, you know what, we should do this. It's easy to have those people who are just wanting to hop on the bandwagon, but not someone who's as serious as you can see that they are going to be your counterpoint, like the yin and yang.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I was and still am a true believer.
Oh, let me tell you this. I said this to, anytime we do get into a place where we're like, hey, we need to have a conversation, we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and Heidi's like, what can I do better? And I want to be the best me, but I feel like I'm falling short in X, Y, and Z. And I always tell her, I'm like, listen, I need to remind you, West Kept Secret would not be where it is, and it's not going to go anywhere without you. So let's take a deep breath and just remind you of that, because I know West Kept Secret wouldn't be here without Heidi seeing the big picture vision, because to be honest, I was so bogged down in the mother-in-law suite, in the details, training clients for hours on end. There's no way I could do anything more than just look to the next day. And she was able to say, hey, here's some things you should think about. She's the one who recommended, let's do small group classes. We could fit 5 people in here. Can you program for that? Absolutely. I can do all of the programming. She did the marketing. I did the moves. And that's kind of how it grew. And then as we were looking at commercial spaces, hey, what do you think about this space? And we would use our 2 expertises to get us where we are. So we do both. Have a few personal training clients that we see during the week, because we love to do what we do.
But it's feeding a bigger vision.
It is. Long term, those are the people that kind of help propel the programming to the next level, because we can try things on them and whatnot, but we can't be with them all day long. We just can't.
But the thing is that a lot of people, and being in the fitness industry, I talk to people all the time who just think maybe they're getting paid unfairly, or they feel like their time is worth more, and I understand that, but they think that the only way to find scalability in what they're doing is to open a gym. And so they forget that these tactile things that come with strategy and growth and adding in different dynamics, groups, small group, all these things, and keeping it precise and pristine. So some of those details fall through the cracks because maybe they don't have that counterpoint, or they just think their counterpoint has to be an accountant or someone so business, so separate, and that's just not the way it works.
There is absolutely no way that we would be sitting in a 2,200 square foot space that was newly built out for us if we had not spent 2 years running one-on-one and small group training at the studio at her house, which the overhead was already paid for. It was already, done and finished, and then really looked for commercial space that fit our vision, and we're able to take on no investors and no loans. So,
oh my God, so badass.
You have to do that.
You have to do the grind.
Foundation always. Foundation always.
100%.
And so going into foundation, I want to pivot a little.
Yeah.
So a lot of people clearly are going to ask, you guys are the fittest people that they probably know. Fittest people I've seen in a long time. Talk to me a little about both of your philosophies when it comes to diet, nutrition, and diet culture. People age at different speeds, and the date on your license may not represent your inner biological clock at all. If you're looking for ways to extend your health span and slow down the aging process, the keys to health and longevity run in your blood. That's why Inside Tracker provides you with a personalized plan to boost your metabolism, reduce stress, improve sleep, and optimize your health for the long haul. Created by leading scientists in aging, genetics, and biometrics, Inside Tracker analyzes your blood, DNA, and fitness tracking data, all to identify where you're optimized and where you're not. Now you can connect your Inside Tracker to your Apple Watch to unlock deeper and more precise insights into your health. With real-time exercise, resting heart rate, and sleep data synced with your Inside Tracker plan, you can truly wear your health on your sleeve.
For a limited time, you can get 20% off of the entire Inside Tracker store. Just go to insidetracker.com/hotter-than-health. Again, that is insidetracker.com/hotter-than-health. For a limited time, 20% off of the entire Inside Tracker store by going to insidetracker.com/hotter-than-health. Lately, my boyfriend and I have been indulging in dark chocolate every single night. I say lately, but it's probably been the past 6 months. So every night we'll do a couple of squares of dark chocolate before bed. It's just a nice way to end the night. It's a nice sweet treat. So the other night I open up the freezer where we keep it, and we were all out. And I'm telling you that never happens, but luckily I had the Organifi Chocolate Gold. So the Organifi Chocolate Gold is a hot beverage mix, and it's actually made to promote rest and relaxation. What I love about this product is that you don't have to drink it with milk, you don't have to mix anything else. It's already naturally sweet, but with no sugar. So it supports relaxation, it nourishes the body, it promotes restful sleep. And I always mention that when we are sleeping, it is the time for our body to repair and fully relax. So I don't want to be spiking my blood sugar before I go to bed. I want my body to be in a full restful state. So this is great for promoting healthful digestion and also restful sleep. So it's got a grounding mushroom, which is the reishi mushroom, which is really fantastic for regulating your nervous system, especially if your mind is kind of running wild before you go to bed. It has no sugar, so it's not spiking anything. Your mind is not going to go crazy. It's not going to disrupt your stomach. And it also has Ayurvedic herbs that support and nourish your body. It also supports relaxation with lemon balm extract, which is known as the calming herb. So the Organifi Gold chocolate, as well as their other products, are USDA certified organic, gluten-free. They are glyphosate residue-free, non-GMO project verified, as well as every other verification you can think of. And I am a full supporter. I love this product so much. So you're not going to find these types of products with these high-quality potency ingredients anywhere else for this price. Make sure you check out Organifi.com/HTH. Use the code HTH for 20% off. Again, this is the chocolate gold. I like to start my day with a greens powder, maybe the red in the middle of the day, and then I like to end it with some dark chocolate. So if you are trying to stay on a health kick, you're not trying to consume a ton of extra sweets and sugar at the end of the night, this is the perfect healthy hot chocolate to end your day with. Again, this is Organifi.com. Use the code HTH for 20% off of your first order at checkout.
Sure. So we're very big with the nutrition piece, especially with our personal training clients. That's included when they come on board, virtual or local, which is great. But our general philosophy is, and I know this sounds, it's like, hey, I've heard this before, but we'll dive in a little deeper, but everything in moderation. I am a huge dessert person. I love sweets. I love Nutella. It's my go-to. I like to.
She points to me and she says Nutella.
You
know. I know.
I like to have at least 3 to 4 big teaspoons a day.
So good. Oh,
just to take the edge off, you know.
Just to take the edge off.
Oh my gosh, it's
You're
just
on
so
the
good.
Buddy the Elf diet. Yes.
It is. That's my thing, and I think to myself, oh, if I took out X, Y, and Z, could I go to the next level? Sure. But I'm happy with where I'm at. And I think that also comes with age. That also comes with security and support from your business partner, your spouse, your community. And you go, I'm happy with where I'm at. But I will say we both follow a traditionally low carb, high protein diet is kind of our go-to. I could run you through a typical day for me of what I eat.
Yes.
It's around 4:30. 2 eggs. I have a little bit. 4:30 a.m. Correct.
These people know. They've heard.
You got it.
If you've listened to Hotter Than Health, you know that we wake up early.
We got to be up early.
I love it now. I used to hate it. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see what this day has in store.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm not quite there.
Sun's coming up. You are ready to take it on. But 2 eggs. I throw some bacon bits in there from Costco. I've been adding those in, which I love.
I like that.
I rock that. I hit a big glass of water. Normally I only drink 3 sips of it because I don't like the taste of water. I hate the taste of water.
I think people just don't like the feeling of water because there's no taste. taste, you know?
I just don't like it at all. I mean, I have to
like it's
sometimes
boring?
plug my nose, and I told Heidi the other day, I'm like, I don't even know how I'm alive. I haven't drank water in 3 days.
And you're like
almost.
drinking caffeine. How are you doing this? You have dewy skin. What's going on?
It's just the product.
Got the whole regimen.
I can tell
We'll
you about
talk
the
about
products,
that.
but
That's part of this.
I really don't like water, so I'll kind of tell you how I supplement that. But I'll have my 3 sips of my plain water in the morning. Then about 9 a.m. I'll typically have some kind of snack. Normally it's fruit. I love the berries family, so strawberries, blueberries, maybe a yogurt. I like the Too Good low sugar yogurt. It's so great, filling with a little granola. It's typically my go-to. Then it's lunchtime, and we have a delivery service that we use in Charlotte. It's called Dish Bliss by Dara. And
Dish Bliss. What is
Dish
it?
Bliss.
Dish Bliss.
Yes,
Okay.
and
Subtle
she's
plug.
local, and we love her. So we'll get typically a lunch and a dinner from her, and then some snacks throughout the day. And her meals are traditionally unhealthy meals that she's then made healthy. So if you think about like
a sloppy
enchiladas,
Joe, but on a sweet potato.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So that will typically be one of those meals for lunch, or just an easy big salad that I can throw together. I cannot cook. I don't know how, and I don't like it. My husband
Don't let her
doesn't
in the kitchen. She doesn't even go to the. I don't know. When's the last time we went to a grocery store? Can't even tell you.
like a year ago, maybe.
Wow, honestly, that's sooner than I thought.
Maybe the last time with you when you were teaching me how to cook chicken.
Oh my god.
When she tried to teach, I don't even get what is going on.
I have video content of this.
I'm like, this is so boring. I have other stuff I could be doing, and it just.
You know what? That's your priorities are different for everybody.
You know, it's not fulfilling in any way. Again, Heidi's great at it. My husband's great at it.
You're just being efficient. Let them stay in their lanes. You stay in yours.
Exactly. You cook while I do more work, and it just feels good.
Yes.
I do know how to throw in leftover chicken into a bowl with a big salad. Throw on some, tomatoes, cucumbers. Throw in some apples. Make it like a spring salad. It's great because that fills me up. Then it's time for a mid-afternoon snack because I'm always hungry. Mm-hmm. Typically, it will be something slightly processed, like a veggie straws. We love veggie straws. Mm-hmm. The Boom Chicka popcorn, 6 bowls worth of that because it's pretty healthy. Hummus with nut thins. I love as a mid-afternoon snack. Typically, do a little bit over the servings, maybe 2-3 servings worth because. It's hard to be, you go bottomless when you're eating.
We don't go by servings. You go by intuition.
Yes. Exactly. I'm like, 2-3 servings, it's all good to me. And then at that point, now we're looking at dinner, 5-6 o'clock. I eat pretty early. Mm-hmm. We laugh about that because we're opposite.
She eats real early.
I'll do another meal.
To eat early too.
I'll do another meal, typically, or my husband will cook something, and then it's time for Nutella. Or I do love at Trader Joe's. They have these little. My mom got these on them. They're temporarily living with me. It's a long story, but anyway.
Mother-in-law, sweet. You said it would be an investment.
Yes, it's paying off. It's paying off. So it's great. It's really fun actually to have them around. But there's a Trader Joe's close by. She's always in there every other day, and got me turned on to these mint chocolate chip ice cream sandwiches, and they're minis, and the serving is 4. I normally do 8, and
genius.
They just make you feel so good, and you go to bed feeling full and happy.
And Nutella on those, and you're good.
Absolutely. So I have to have a dessert, 1 dessert a day.
Same.
We're the
it's
same
the way
way
for me to go. So that's my typical day.
Mm-hmm. And I have a question about the low carb, high protein. Have you been like that? Have you followed that philosophy for a long time, or is that something that you kind of got into because you were getting crashing because of all the carbs, you were tired, or it just wasn't good for your body? What?
Great question. I got into that right when I noticed my body was not at its peak point. I was feeling tired and sluggish. I was crashing around 2 o'clock. I remember in the mother-in-law suite, I had a client who canceled, and I knew the rest of my day, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel myself, but if I don't take a nap, I just laid down on the yoga mat and closed my eyes, and I was like, this is not sustainable. What do I need to do nutrition-wise? And that's when I ended up getting a nutrition certification and studied what's working. And again, it's a very loose version of keto. It's not restrictive. And that really has kept me fueled and energized, and we do that with our personal training clients, and it's been a nice loose format for them to follow, keeping you energized, full, and getting results.
Yeah, and I think it's good that you're adding in variety. You're focusing on veggies, and you've prioritized that. That's amazing, and you're doing what works for you.
And my water swap, I do. I like a sparkling ice.
Yes,
they're like a soda because I was a soda addict. I'm out of recovery from that because that was a lot. I mean, I was 3 or 4 Diet Cokes a day. This was a long time ago. This was about 10 years ago. Now I'm out, I'm clean.
Gotta get you some vitamins.
So, right. So now every time I go to the doctor to do blood work, I'm like, something's gonna come up from my days of doing Diet Coke.
But the thing is about water, the more water you drink, the more water you need. So you're just good. You know what? You're setting
building
yourself
your
up.
tolerance, right?
No, I agree. It's not you should not aim for that. This is not a suggestion.
Correct.
But, you're getting your fruits that have water.
Exactly, in other ways. And then, and I do like hint water.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi turned me on to that. So
there you go.
I try to find other, Metro Mint's it's a spearmint infused water that I can get that down, but that's
Still struggling.
It's really hard with me with water, but those are mine.
And then what about you? What are your day-to-days?
I mean, I'm close to her. My times are a little different.
Okay.
And then truthfully, I am very bad about doing the midday snacks. I need to be better about it. I just get really sucked into what I'm doing, and I'm just like, I'm not getting up. Like, I'm not getting up out of this chair, out this laptop. I'm finishing this. So that's what I need to do better of. I'm trying to think of like some things I do differently.
Do you eat breakfast right away when you wake
so
up?
no,
Okay.
that is the difference between us for
and when
sure.
we travel together,
I need to wait a minute too.
Yes.
I need
it's
like
tough
an
because
hour
I'm
too.
starving when I wake up.
She is.
Well, but you eat earlier at night.
Yes.
So you're
and then I get nervous eating before a workout because I feel like I'm gonna like carry it with me, and she is like an angry little elf if she does not eat before the workout.
Oh, okay.
I'll be nauseous.
Right.
Yeah. Some people, bodies are different.
Yes. So I do think that's an interesting difference between us. I do eat later. If my husband had it his way, we would eat when Marissa eats. He loves to eat earlier. I will literally sometimes make him dinner, and then 2 hours later he's like, "Are you ready to get in bed?" I'm like, "I haven't eaten yet." And he's like, "What? How have you not eaten yet?" And I'm like, "Sorry, I wasn't hungry yet." So I do struggle a little bit with that. I'm getting better. I'm trying to manage that. But I will say that I love
it works.
It does. And I love the high protein, low carb. I love that we've never said no carb. I have done a month where I've done no like added sugar, like nothing that's not real sugar, just to see. It was not hard to do. I felt amazing. It was right before our grand opening. Actually, I wanted to try it. But I've done it 1 month in my whole life, and I know now I can do it, so I don't really feel the need to.
Yeah.
I am very much someone who needs something sweet after dinner every night, just like Marissa said. I actually think we've been a bad influence on each other about it, because we're like, all right, what'd you have? I'm like, oh, now tell me about that. So it's like,
it's humanizing.
Yeah, you can't.
I was like, they have to eat something.
Oh yeah, I have dark chocolate covered almonds right now, but like I could eat the whole thing, so I have to
freeze them.
Yes,
you have to freeze them.
The cold one, yes,
The best,
cold good.
because then it's like sensitive teeth. And
Yes.
it just slows it down.
Yeah. But Marissa taught me a lot about reading labels. I always, look for sugars first and try to keep that a little bit lower. Personally, I get bad, like the inflammation we've been talking about with high sodium. So I really don't do processed. I can't.
Can't do Thai food, like no pad Thai. I'm a blimp. I have no rings the next day.
Yes.
Nothing's happening.
Yes.
That is bad. Like when I can't get it on my finger, I know I overdid it.
You know what you should do? Because I'm a doctor and I'm here to
Yes,
describe.
please, diagnose me.
I am so sensitive to salt. But what I do is in the morning, I do 32 ounces of room temperature water. I know, gag for you. But with a tiny pinch of pink sea salt. So it mineralizes it mineralizes your water. And then you not build up a tolerance, but it does. But you still don't want like MSG.
Right.
You don't want that type of thing.
Yes.
You can have natural sodium, and it's definitely
That's
better.
a great idea.
It's like a little hack. It's really
that's a great
it's
hack.
electrolytes. So if you want to make your water work for you.
Wow, not only are we going to make her drink water, but we're going to make her drink salt water.
I'll give it a try.
All right.
I'll try anything once.
I was going to say, she will say she'll try anything once.
I'll give it a whirl.
And I know a lot of your clients are probably just like copy paste. What do you guys eat? I want to eat what you eat. And that's hard because something that works for you might not work for them.
Exactly.
I have people that are rice, beans, carbs, lentils, and it chiseled and small, but not that that's health, but they feel really good.
Great. Yeah.
I have to ask you guys. So my whole thing is plant dominance and making sure that you're getting a lot of fiber and different nutrients and vitamins, and I'm very plant dominant, not vegan. So I'll still do seafood and different proteins like that, but not chicken or animals. It's just my philosophy. What are y'all's, I call them conference calls. How is your regularity with this type of lifestyle, especially incorporating waking up super early, like your circadian rhythms are changing and your day-to-day is different. So have you guys ever struggled with like constipation? Has that ever been a thing? Are you guys like once a week poopers? Some people do.
Marissa, she's ready. She's ready to give her answer. Mine is always how long my body has been awake.
Yeah.
So if I wake up at 4, let's call it 7. If I wake up at 7, let's call it 10. I'm not I feel like men, they just wake up and go straight to the toilet.
They are incinerators. That's you.
That's like me.
Yes, she's so good at it, especially when we've traveled. My biggest problem is when I travel, I get stage fright basically. And so I just feel whenever I go anywhere, I just tell Marissa already, I'm like, I'm not even off the plane yet. I'm already bloated. I know I'm not gonna be able to go. I hate this already. And it really sucks sometimes when you're like going to like an island or you want to wear a bathing suit and feel good or you worked really hard on yourself. And just because you can't use the restroom for a couple days, it's all out the window. Big difference.
I have so many tips for you.
Yes.
I used to be full constipation for any I would go to a hotel in my same city. Like I would anywhere that's different, anything that throws off my routine, I'm like everything just vacuum seals.
Sure.
And nothing's working and I'm bloated and I feel like nothing fits, nothing looks good, and my energy is low and like my skin is dull. I will give you so many tips, so many podcasts.
After this last trip I went on, I was like, all right, I need to know what the deal is. Marissa and I talked about this in length. We've got, a lot of things I'm going to be working on too. But one thing I found online was what's called jet belly or plain belly. And basically because of the altitude, you automatically either get gas or you get this little like,
yes.
What is it called?
So
bubble gut.
Yes,
bubble
yes.
gut.
It's like have you ever taken off and then you open your water bottle and it goes pff,
yes.
That's what happens to your stomach.
Exactly.
That's exactly
and
what
so I
happens.
read this article like a month ago, so I haven't had a chance to try it yet, where you can take Gas X before you fly, and that's supposed to help with like jet belly. I
Probably.
haven't done it yet, but I bought the Gas X. I have it ready to go.
That's a great tip.
I'm gonna see what happens.
I think that's great.
And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even remember being gassy on planes, but it's not that.
It's not that. It's just
not.
it pauses everything.
Yes.
It's
Correct.
like I'm just not gonna do it because your body is in that fight or flight, especially if because your body's like I shouldn't be 30,000 feet in the air. This is not normal.
Yes.
So more anxious people, not that you're anxious, but more anxious people on flights. It's like.
Yes. Now let's talk about regular Rachel over here.
Yes.
Who also hates flying, if we want to tell any of those stories.
Of course.
I definitely can't go on the flight. I mean, I can't even go number one on the flight.
I
won't get up. I'll just hold it and be miserable and just clinch. Everyone's around me. I'm not a great flyer. But for my typical routine, right up in the morning, right when I'm cooking breakfast, I mean, putting eggs in a microwave, pretty much. It's not really cooking, but that's right then. It's like, hey, pause the microwave. I gotta go right away. It's like clockwork and very regular. Then midday, typically, another one will be rocking out, and then possibly the evening, but at least twice a day, I'd say, pretty consistently.
Wow, we have a lot of people listening that are very jealous right now.
I'm once if I'm lucky, for sure.
And that makes me sad because I know it does do feel
I'm the
better.
saddest out of all of us, y'all.
But I will say, this sounds kind of silly, but I actually have done pelvic floor PT. Long story, but to make it very short,
I love where you're going with this.
There was some exercises, and I actually had to do a urination and number 2 diary to understand what was going on with my pelvic floor. I had an overly tight pelvic floor from an injury that I had from tearing one of my obliques. Anyway, so I had to record this journal of how frequently I was going to the bathroom 1 and 2 and ways to relax when you were getting to the toilet and you utilizing a squatty potty and whatnot and truly unclenching your body, especially lower half. And I really feel like I've been able to train myself to do that for number 1 and number 2, but it takes muscle memory because, the sphincter muscle is a muscle and learning how to relax. So I think there is so much mindfulness that we're not connecting with that. And I'm very thankful that I was able to do that because I'm able to talk to a lot of our postpartum clients or women who have not had babies. I have not had a baby, but was suffering from a pelvic floor issue and being knowledgeable about that.
I think that, again, another level of credibility and
For
depth,
sure.
and you can speak to a whole new audience. That's amazing.
Definitely.
And it's true. Like if you are on your phone while you're going to the bathroom, peeing is fine, but with number 2, you really gotta relax.
You do.
It's like Shavasana. You have to just relax. What is one of y'all's biggest insecurities?
We could go on for hours.
I know. It's
What
funny.
is one that you think about? I feel like when there's the one that pops up. What's the first thing that popped up? Because maybe none. But
Like now we're talking internal or external? Either. I mean, I think automatically my brain goes to aesthetic, like external, because we are fitness trainers and we're in a lot of pictures. So if someone were to ask me and I had to answer like rapid fire right then, I have just always my entire life had a very round face. And I think that, Marissa has such a thin, great jaw, great cheekbones, high. So when we take pictures together, sometimes I think my face looks even more round next to hers. It was already round before. But then as I've gotten older, people will always remind me, like, people pay to have those cheeks. People pay for like this round face kind of thing. So I'm definitely not over it. We just took pictures the other day, and she said, hey, do you want to send these off? And I looked at them and I was like, I guess so. I mean, I'm just going to send my round face over here, you know?
I know exactly what you mean.
You know, and so I think that there's a lot of things you can work on your body aesthetically on the outside. Like, I want a six pack. Okay, do that. I want to build my butt. Okay, do more glutes. But how do you work around face? So I think that's probably one of mine aesthetically. I think just an instant, I feel like I got a wide face. That's an easy, quick answer.
I love y'all's faces, and I think that you are so beautiful. It is crazy, and your cheeks just, the thing is, you are going to look like this for, you are not aging.
I hope
She has
not.
all the volume there.
Nothing is going to sink
I'm
or
losing
sag.
the volume.
Yeah.
And she's gaining it.
But it's like, we always want what we can't have.
Absolutely.
But also, I would always think about it, and I think that I do the exact same thing. I have a very heart-shaped face.
Yeah.
It was when we were inflamed. When
Yes.
we were inflamed, we always go back to it. I'm like, that's it.
Yes.
But normally, I'm like, I actually just have a round face.
Right.
It was just extra
It's
inflamed.
extra puffy.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So it's just, we're getting back to our natural state, but I think we're conditioned to think, oh, I didn't feel good
100%.
when we had puffy face.
Yes. So that's
What's so interesting is I don't see that at all. So when we'll look at a photo and she says that, I'm not joking. I'm like, Heidi, I don't see what you're seeing. I can understand having an insecurity, but I promise you, you look amazing. I wouldn't ever send something out that I didn't go, wow, she looks amazing. So
It's
and I believe her.
It's such a layer of dysmorphia that I feel like women have.
Absolutely.
It is, nobody can say that they've never compared or felt a certain way.
Or criticize themselves within
yeah.
an instant of seeing a photo. I mean,
Yep.
you take a selfie
Immediately.
in your car, immediately you find something.
Yes. Oh my God, it is easy. It is easy. And I'm telling you, the more I ask women all the time, and men, what are 3 things that you would want to change about yourself? And they're like, oh, this. And I'm like, what are things you like about yourself? It takes them 20 minutes.
Yes.
And it's just crazy.
We ask clients that in our intro session. We ask them, what do you want? What would be your ideal body? What are you wanting to see physically? And what do you love about your body? And it's like, my eyes. It's like, that's great, but give me something else. And because they can't come up with anything.
It's really,
because we're so hard on ourselves physically.
What's
really
yours?
I got 3.
All right.
But they're
Let's
quick.
hear 'em.
My first, they're all pretty even too. So number 1 would be, I have a really short torso. So I hate being photographed from the front. I like to turn to the side.
Okay.
You'll notice that in a lot of our photos. She's great head on. I'm much more of a turner. I think it was from when I danced. It's like, hey, you don't look great head on. You have huge hips.
Hit
Turn
your
to the
angles.
side. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for forever. You know, I mean,
Don't mind me.
Just a touch of body dysmorphic disorder. You
Hey,
know?
I'll take that
But
with me.
it really, you know, and there was a point where I did kind of Google. I'm like, what is this insecurity? And you know, it is body dysmorphic disorder. You know, you don't really have a touch of what everyone else is seeing. So
Everyone's realities are so different.
So
totally different. So that's kind of 1. These are my 2 physical. Number 2 is anytime I'm breaking out. I hate that, and I just want to load on makeup, load it on to feel my best self. I feel really self-conscious. I'm you know, just always have. So when you are having a good skin day, I love to be able to kind of not wear as much and feel confident and ride that wave, because when it comes the next day, you know, it doesn't feel so good.
Yeah.
Especially when you're an adult. You're like, I'm 33. Why am I breaking out? This
And
is
you're in
ridiculous.
an industry where you are sweating, you're moving,
Correct.
things fall off, and yeah.
For sure. And my last one would be when I'm teaching, we always joke about it, and it's fine with our team, but there have been things where clients have said things, but counting and making mistakes when you're teaching, you are the owner, and when we go through the demo, for example, that you experienced this morning,
Which
you
was
know,
insane, amazing. I was salivating. It was truly, it was the best demo I've ever seen.
Thank
It
you.
was
that's amazing.
We like to make it really crisp and concise, but fun and
Y'all
funny.
have your own language.
Yes.
We do.
Oh God, it's good.
We do. We do
was
have our
like,
own
should I
lingo.
film this?
But, you know, there have been times where I'm counting and it's wrong or it's extended or whatnot. And I actually do have a numbers dyslexia disability that not a lot of people know about. So for me, if somebody's like, oh, Marissa, not the team is like, we know Marissa's not a good counter. But when it's a client or somebody who doesn't really know me, it's like, well, yeah, actually, I did mess that up because I have a problem. I can't count, or it's hard for me to go the opposite direction, and you feel really self-conscious right out of the gate. But I've learned from Heidi. She's great at teaching me how to kind of laugh things off and move on and not get so stuck on it. So that's a great thing that I've learned.
I always tell Marissa, you're always going to know more about everything that's happening in this room than anyone else on the floor. You're going to know how much time is left. You're going to know what they are and aren't doing correctly. You're going to know how much time you have to skim off or add, what they should be doing with their bodies. Like,
double-edged sword.
Yes, they're coming to you because you're the expert. So if the counting is the biggest mistake that you make, then you're doing it.
You're
just
doing
fine.
great. I saw this thing yesterday. I was reading an article, and it's called the spotlight effect. So you always think the spotlight is on you. You always are more critical of what people are saying. Everyone's looking at me. Nobody's looking at you. You know,
It's so
everyone's
true.
so self-absorbed
So true.
that we all are just worrying about what's happening with us.
We used to get dolled up to record our streaming episodes because we just couldn't believe that there could be people in any other part of the world besides Charlotte, North Carolina that could see us on the screen. And now I laugh because I'm like, I've done a couple of the streaming episodes, she has too, and we're like, we don't even look at the screen.
No.
You see what the move is, you have your AirPods in, and then you just do it as you listen to this person count or talk.
Oh, got it.
And now we have very much brought
Toned
our
it down.
look down because we're like, they just look to see what the move is, and then they're just listening. No one is like doing the workout staring at us
No
on
one
the
sees the
screen
blemish.
at all.
Exactly.
So that's a very interesting thing from the beginning of streaming until current day that we're like, wow, we realize there is no spotlight. They're just working out and listening to us.
Yes.
For sure. That's a great point.
Okay, hard pivot.
Let's do it.
Tell me about the Top Cats. What is going on? Have there been any experiences with the NFL players? I need a story. What is it like behind the scenes of a NFL dance team? I know I've heard that they're not spending this time with the team. It's not like everyone's riding the same bus like in high school. So what is that like? And do you guys have any cool stories about experiences with any of the athletes? You don't have to say names.
I will say this, there is a rule that Top Cats are not supposed to date or...
Correct. Oh yeah, they are very serious with that. I can speak when I was on the team because we are, when we go to assist with our with the games and then of course with practices, the players aren't even there at that time. They've already kind of cashed out on their day, and we're excited because this upcoming season we're going to actually be able to go into the locker room with the Top Cats and do some stretching before the game to loosen up the body and help them get their mind right, which again, we didn't have that when I was on the team, so we're so pumped about that. But when I was on the team, it was so, almost everybody was married or in a serious relationship, the actual cheerleaders. There was never one time that anyone ever crossed that boundary. Now with other teams, I have friends who cheered on other teams and they said it was a lot more lax. It is not like that in Charlotte. However, when I cheered, we shared the same parking lot with the players. So I'm pulling up at the time in a hybrid Prius that was a hand-me-down from my parents, and it's Bentley, Rolls Royce, Mercedes. It's like, wow.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to the back corner where no one can see me and walk in, and we're all walking in at the same time, going to different places.
Yes.
And I remember there were two different instances. One time I was walking in heels, didn't wear heels often, but we had an appearance, and I tripped and fell when I was walking in, and I think it was Mike Anderson. I can't remember who it was, but I tripped and fell, and I'm laying down there, and I'm like, I really hope no one's behind me. And this guy runs up, and he's like, "Hey, ma'am, are you okay?"
That
and
looked
it's this
really
huge
bad.
guy, and I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm all right. Please don't. I'm good." He helped me get up, and he's like, "Are you sure?" And then I'm wiggling and wobbling in these stilettos. I'm like, "I'm fine. I promise." And he just kind of, walking, and he kept turning around. I'm like,
Oh my God, that's
I'm
good.
And I got into the locker room, and I was like, I am just mortified. And the whole rest of the day, I was just embarrassed.
Of course.
So that was kind of my one interaction. The other one was really, really funny. But I was going into the locker room again, and, players are going in, because we would always arrive. If practice was at 7, that meant really get there at 6. And at that, I came on in 2011 when Cam Newton was drafted. So it was like a big, the whole city was electric. Obviously, there was all this media and just starry-eyed looking at him because, I'm 5 feet tall.
He's
a
skyscraper.
Beast. And a teammate and I were walking in, and he's like, "Hey, ladies," and we're not supposed to talk to them. So we ignore. That was kind of
Interesting.
not even supposed to acknowledge. So when I had fallen in the last story, I was like, I'm not supposed to acknowledge him, but I appreciate you helping me.
But I fell on the ground.
Right. So I was like, I hope there's no security cameras around here.
Oh my gosh.
But when Cam's like, "Hey, ladies," and we kind of look at each other, my teammate, we keep walking. He's like, "Excuse me, ladies." Well, we can't ignore Cam Newton. So we turn around, and he's like, "Hey, are any of your teammates single? I'm looking for a lady." I was like, well, we'll find out. I'm sure we have somebody.
We'll send her out.
And we run in the locker room like, hey guys, is anybody interested? And our coach walks in and she's like, oh, he was in the office the other day asking the same thing for all the girls up here. And we all started laughing. We didn't get into trouble, which was good. But that was pretty much the most interaction we've ever had
that is really funny,
with them at all. But it was very much like a playful relationship. And I do feel like the athletes, the football players, very much respect what the girls are doing now men on the team, what these dancers are doing, because they see us out there on game day. I'm talking like I'm a current Top Cat, but they see the team out there. I mean, the team gets there, the Top Cats get there at 6:30 in the morning on game day. They prep, they do everything, and then the players roll in at 9 or 10 because they have to utilize the field first. And I think they have an immense amount of respect for what they're doing, because they know they're out there busting their behind in the sun from 9 to 12, during the summer, and they know it's not easy, which is great. And of course, we have that mutual respect back.
I love that.
I mean, there might be tea that goes on we don't know about.
Of course.
But I mean, when, from what we see, I don't know if it's the Carolinas or in the Bible Belt. I mean, I feel like they are pretty locked up with kind of how they run ship.
I feel like also nothing would happen in the actual stadiums. Like, nothing's happening there. It would be at a club. It would be out, maybe. I don't know.
Right. And it's been the same thing. Like, we would go out, we would see players. It's like, we're not going to talk to them. We're not going to engage in that. That's in our contract, and we hold that very seriously.
Oh, okay.
And, if we saw them out at a bar, it was, we're going to ignore. We're not going to say anything.
Okay.
I will say, too, having trained Olivia Culpo, who dates Christian McCaffrey, she has become actually kind of one of our friends. Yeah, and we were texting with her an hour ago about nail colors. So she dates Christian. They are younger than us, which is wild, when you think about it. We've been very fortunate enough to train her in his home, meet him. He's talked to us during the workouts and after. So nice. And we, socially hung out with them, at his, at her birthday. He hosted at his house last summer, and he has other friends who obviously play for the NFL. They were there. We brought our husbands. I think it's more just being around it and seeing how normal they are.
We're just humans with a job that gets me a lot of attention.
Exactly.
Yes. Yep.
Almost to the point where some of them you could kind of tell didn't really even want it. But they're 24-year-old, guys. They got some people playing, beer pong, some people jet skiing. It's just it was very 24, 25-year-old normal behavior that was, tame and fun and normal. And I think that it's, there are going to be, I'm sure, players that are going to be a little bit different in how they use their money and the flashiness that comes with it. But I think we're so normalized to it over the last year and a half that even before becoming the Top Cats trainers, we had all those interactions. So then the Top Cats was just kind of a great cherry on the sundae, but it wasn't, I feel that with Christian McCaffrey, I think the highest paid player on the team, maybe. I don't know. Just being around him and seeing it, that at that point, there's not really much we can see after that that makes us feel like,
there was nothing to be starstruck about.
Correct. And honestly, I mean, if anything, we were more, when we were playing like beer pong, Heidi and I were more competitive than,
I believe it.
Yes. We're like, we're going to win. We're going to show them how great we are.
We
did not
good.
win.
Not good at all.
We tried. And
we're not good.
But we are the worst beer pong duo in the world.
But it's the energy that you're bringing. That
they
appreciated
the energy. They were like,
the competitive spirit.
Yeah, they're like, we are tired. Can you carry this?
Exactly.
That is good. As long as that is hugely appreciated in social situations. I am not the person who can like bring the energy. I can be involved in the energy, but like I'm not an energy pusher, giver.
Yes.
I love to be around it, but then I have to be introverted. I'm not.
I think
like
you adapt really well to situations.
I can adapt really well to situations, and if it's energy temporarily, like this trip to Mexico, hey girl, like this trip to Mexico, great, fine. But after that, I was like,
recharge.
Do not talk to me for 17 months.
Right.
All right, we're gonna get into rapid fire questions.
Love it.
I know. Okay, rapid fire. We're doing this. Each of you get 10 seconds. That's a new rule.
Wow, that's a long time.
That's good. I like
5 seconds, 7 seconds.
No, we'll take the 10.
You got this. Okay. Favorite healthy food spot in Charlotte?
I was gonna say Flower Child. I love their chopped salad.
Oh, that's good. I'd say Nota Bodega. They have an amazing wrap.
She's like,
I just wish they didn't take so long to get me the good food.
That's never happened to me. We always go back and forth. I've never had that experience. I like their wraps.
Next question, ladies. High school superlatives. What would you have been voted?
Most talkative. I did win that. So
I'm thinking at college I won something. I can't remember what it was, but high school I would have been most athletic, maybe.
Oh, badass.
Biggest party animal.
Probably.
All right. Product you cannot live without. One product that you cannot live without. It doesn't mean you only have one forever. It's your favorite of all time, maybe.
Hyaluronic. So I love hyaluronic acid, and I call it hyaluronic because I'm like, it's
the chronic.
Yep.
It is.
And she got me onto that. I mean, I can't. It's just, it keeps it all moisturized.
Truly. And I run dry.
Especially if you don't drink water.
You need this.
I would say eye patches. That is like, I wear them minimum once a day, sometimes twice a day, always in the morning to depuff.
What brand?
James Cosmetics.
They should sponsor her. She literally does.
James Cosmetics. Are you listening?
I'm ready.
We're sending this to Goop.
Yes.
All right. Next one. Describe yourself as a cocktail. What would it be?
You go first.
I would say you would be an espresso martini.
Well, I was actually going to say a martini of some sort. It would either be extra dirty, or espresso because, hey, why not?
What would I be, Heidi? I don't drink that often.
You need a skinny marg with like a cool rim, like or tissue.
Hey, that sounds great.
I could see that with like some really good like tequila.
Yeah, she would top shelf marg.
Yes, she'd be a top shelf skinny marg.
And you're like, we have to have it. We have to have a
nightcap espresso martini.
Yes, espresso martini. Best advice you've ever gotten.
Whenever you face a hardship or situation, in order to move on, you have to ask yourself, is this going to matter tomorrow? Is this going to matter in a year? Is this going to matter in 5 years? And then you can base the way you react to it on that answer.
Wow, that was really good.
I actually need to use that more because I always forget about it.
Yes,
and I just will
really
react and I'm like, dang it, I should have thought about that, but I don't.
I love that. I've gotten so many good ones, but I think the biggest one for me in childhood and now in adulthood and really every day is when you face a roadblock, because there's going to be a lot of them, how can you reroute around that safely, successfully, and in a way that's going to motivate you to get past that next roadblock?
Okay.
That would be mine.
I love that.
Bobbing and weaving.
Yes, always.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We're going to do a quick giveaway. What would you guys like to offer, whether it's someone listening in Charlotte or someone listening in Australia, wherever you are?
Ooh, Australia. We want to go there.
Oh, yes.
That's where James Cosmetics is based out of.
They are.
Baby, we are here.
We're going to Australia. So we actually have offerings for both, which is great, which we're happy to have done that in the pandemic with the virtual piece. So if you live in Charlotte, the giveaway will be winning a 3-pack of in-person group classes, which Eliza did today.
They are amazing. The programming was so fun and dynamic and non-intimidating, and the group was so supportive. I'm absolutely obsessed. I cannot wait to come again.
That's so nice.
Thank you.
And then for our not Charlotte people, out of towners, we have a streaming subscription. We have over 100 episodes, total body parts, and recovery, which I personally love. And so we would love to give away a free 1 month of streaming a subscription to someone who doesn't live here.
Amazing. That sounds so good.
Yes.
All right, well, where can everybody find you?
On Instagram at West Kept Secret or our website www.westkeptsecret.co, not .com.
Nailed it.
And then we've got some individual IG handles. We've got HL Sweat and Mrs. West is in the building.
Which I made.
She did.
It's genius.
Yes.
And
as of last week on TikTok.
Oh, that's true. Heidi is manning the TikTok.
But we haven't told anyone yet because it's not good yet.
TikTok.
You get the SEO.
Yes.
Check
That's
them out
right.
on TikTok.
West Kept Secret CLT because some bum stole our name, but we're going to figure it out.
It will be good when you have that because then eventually you will have more locations.
Exactly.
And then you needed that. So
Right.
thank that person.
That's true.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much. If you want to enter for the giveaway, all you have to do is write your favorite part of the episode on the most recent Instagram post with Heidi and Marissa. And if you're in Charlotte, make sure to check out West Kept Secret. I can tell you, it's incredible. It's a vibe. You will love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for traveling up and sweating with us this
It was
morning.
so fun.
Yes,
Sweat
this was
so
great.
much. It was amazing. All right. Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed that episode. We had such a fun time recording. Remember, if you are in Charlotte, you have the opportunity to win 3 individual class passes to West Kept Secret. All you have to do is take a screenshot of this episode, post it to your social media, tag West Kept Secret and Hotter Than Health podcast, and you'll be entered in to win. If you are not local to the Charleston or to the Charlotte area and you're listening anywhere else, you have the opportunity to win an online streaming unlimited membership to West Kept Secret. I am so excited for this personally, but all you again have to do, take a screenshot of yourself listening to this
this episode. Tell us what you love and tag West Kept Secret and myself, Hotter Than Health Podcast, and you'll be entered in to win. We will be picking a winner within the next 2 weeks. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next week.